next this morning, it's emerged that Rishi Sunak has been warned that his plan to attempt to implement his Rwanda immigration policy by coming out of the European Convention on Human Rights will spectacularly backfire.
Well, The Times says that the Prime Minister met with top lawyers and the Home Secretary this weekend to discuss getting the emergency legislation off the ground. However, it was warned that Britain's international standing could be damaged and flights would be delayed. Well, joining us now to discuss all of that is former Home Office Minister Norman Baker. Norman, good morning.
Nice suit. Norman, what a suit, man.
We just have to comment on it because it's absolutely fabulous. Do you think we could see a U-turn from Rishi Sunak, or is he going to dig himself even deeper into this mess?
Well, digging himself into a hole is what he's doing big time. He's made this business of stopping the boats one of his top priorities. He's elevated it beyond its actually importance. It's actually, if you're looking at numbers, the issue of legal migrants coming in, 750,000 net migration last year, is far bigger problem than the small boats. And he's in big danger of damaging Britain internationally if he opts out of the European Convention on Human Rights. He won't get Rwanda flights off the ground because there are a whole range of international treaties to which we are party. For example, the refugee treaties and so on, which go beyond the European Convention on Human Rights, and he'll be in breach of those as well. And David Cameron, I think, as the new Foreign Secretary, is warning him, quite rightly, this is going to do damage to Britain's reputation abroad.
Norman, let's try a different tack, because we've done the same thing. I've said the same thing for 3 hours. Let's avoid a discussion about certain people want to leave the ECHR because they'll say it's not fit for purpose. Others will say it will damage the way we look in the world. Let's not talk about small boats. Let's talk about 170,000 people, illegal or legal, don't know, not sure, not interested in speculating. Give me your take. It's patently obvious that Rwanda's only 500 people if the flights go anyway. And
exactly.
He's stuck his nose on this. What I'm saying is, as I've said to everybody, what would you do differently? If the Liberal Democrats, which is never going to happen, don't take that the wrong way, were in power, right? How would you deal with an issue that the British people are fed up with?
Well,
Fact.
there might be a hung parliament after the next election, just to be clear. But in terms of the issue you're raising, Jeremy, the most important thing is to get people processed quickly. When they arrive here, no matter what, if they claim refugee status, the Home Office should be able to deal with these people very quickly and decide if they're going to be assimilated into society or sent back from where they came.
Why can't it then? Because all the politicians say to us every day is it's not fit for purpose. So why doesn't one of our politicians make the damn Home Office fit for purpose then? Well, I don't get it.
I totally agree with you. And it was difficult when I was in the Home Office myself. I wasn't an immigration minister. I was doing other things. But in the Home Office, even when I was there were long delays.
Why?
Well, obfuscation, bizarre rules, people who weren't getting on with their job, processing times at Luna House in Croydon, a whole range of just bureaucratic problems that hadn't been sorted out. And
so you'd sort of think, if you were Sunak, and I said it earlier, I'd love your take on this because you've worked in the Home Office, you'd sort of think that if you realise somewhere in your brain that the British people aren't buying this anymore, right, whatever side of the coin you come from, you might have a brain and go, do you know what? I'm gonna tell them, and I'm going to do my best in the next 12 months to change the Home Office and make it a little bit more fit for purpose.
Yes.
I think that's a positive message to give people.
I totally agree, and that's what he should be doing, but he's not doing that. He's digging in even further. He's going to pass legislation and say that black is white, up is down, Rwanda is safe when the Supreme Court says it isn't. I mean, that's just a nightmare. And there's an old-fashioned phrase, as people know it, hoist by your own petard.
Yep.
That's where he is.
Interesting.
And it's difficult to turn around on this, I suppose, with how much focus the media, the press, have given it over the past year. You know, Rwanda has suddenly become like an identity for people. Either you're pro-Rwanda or you're against it. And, you know, it's become this issue that people have been so fixated on. For it to simply kind of disappear now, well, what's he got left to argue on?
Well, he hasn't got anything left to argue on, but he's made this one of his top priorities. Actually, the top priority, I think, for British people is going to be the health service, which, by the way, will be adversely affected if people aren't able to come in the country and help with it, because we're dependent upon foreign people to run the health service these days.
So that does my head in.
The economy, you know, perhaps even climate change for some people. These are the issues concerning people, not actually...
Immigration is an issue, though, Norman.
It is an issue, but it's been made more of an issue by the government making it more of an issue.
And because you used to be a politician. All these politicians say to me, "You can't do it anyway." So, you know, I'm sitting there going, well, if you can't do it anyway, and the British people are not going to be conned for much longer, just be honest, man.
I think so much of the electorate have been whipped up into being so anti-Europe that they will hear something like the European Court of Human Rights and go, well, I'm against that.
No, but Nick, is it fit for purpose in 90... Is it fit for... Is it... there has to be a discussion about, I'd love your take on this, Norm. There are treaties, absolutely accept that we signed for. Is it as effective, is it as fit for purpose, using a Home Office phrase, as it was 50, 60, 70 years ago?
The European Convention on Human Rights.
I'd love to know.
Which is not related to the EU, of course.
Yeah, no, and that's a point that people probably don't know.
That's what I mean, is that people have been whipped up to hate it so much that they presume it's the same thing, and it's not.
Let's just remember that the two countries in Europe who have opted out of the European Convention on Human Rights are Russia and Belarus. I mean, do we really want to be in that bracket?
No, but let's get beyond that if we can. I'm interested, right? Let's get beyond, because that's what certain people say. Do you believe, I know nothing about it, that the ECHR is effective in 2023 as much as it was when it was set up? That's what I'm asking.
Yes, I do, because I think it sets down certain standards, certain abstract standards which should be perennial about the rights of democracy, the rights of individuals, the right to protest, the right to free assembly, all those sorts of things are written in there. Those never change. Those should be always the case. Now, of course, circumstances change in the sense of what's particularly an issue at any particular time, but those perennials should be the basis of our democracy, and we can't abstract ourselves from that.